Hello everybody, this is Gabe here with the Breckenridge Insurance Group, here to make insurance simple and easy to understand for you. Today we are talking about auto insurance policies here in Iowa and how they're set up. Private passenger auto insurance policy to be exact. Table of content. Today we're going to talk about the policy, the coverage section. What does my policy cover? Liability, full coverage, and extras. All that is going to get explained here. I'm going to try to use as least insurance lingo as possible to not confuse you guys as much. Alright, so let's start off with what is an auto insurance policy? An auto insurance policy is a contract between you, the insured, and the insurance company that protects you against financial losses in the event of an accident or theft. What comes in my policy and how do I get it? You're going to get a policy once you have paid the premium and you're done shopping. You're going to get it either via email or through the mail, however you choose for your policy to be delivered. Nowadays, most people just get it through email, but it's a preference that everybody has. If you're more of an old school person, you like things on paper, you can select that option. And if you're more of a new person, or you just like being eco-friendly, then e-policy is the best way to go. And with the accessibility of a company websites, you can always make an account and view your policies either through their app or through their website, which myself, I have it through the app. It's a lot more convenient. I can pull up my policy, my ID card to make changes right then and there. Name insured information. Now these are important things that you should look at through your policy. You're not going to read the whole thing, which is fine, but if you have some time to look it over, look at these things that I am going to talk about here. Name insured info. Now, who's the name insured? The person paying for the policy is the name insured, along with any driver that is listed as the name insured. Now there's drivers and then there's name insured drivers. Mom, dad, name insured. Son, Jacob, Peter, and Sam, they're all drivers on the policy. Excuse me. Coverage outline. This is the section where it explains what type of limits of liability you have, along with what kind of coverage you have, whether you have liability or you have full coverage. Coverage definitions. It explains or gives you definitions to all the words that they use on this policy, all the terms. It can be confusing if you don't look at these definitions. Coverage exclusions. Exclusions mean things that are not covered under the policy, like floods and neglect when it comes to an auto policy. Endorsements, that is additions to your policy, either offered by the insurance company or requested by the name insured. And then last but not least, your ID card comes within the policy. You can always access it through the website or through your app, whichever you prefer, or you can always print out a copy and put it in your vehicle. So coverage section. Today we are going to use Mr. John Doe here. He is 30 years of age, married, and a homeowner. So these limits of liability that I will talk about in the next slide reflect his type of lifestyle here, which he's married and is a homeowner. So he has some assets and he has other people depending on him for income. Bodily injury, that is any damage that you cause to somebody else's body or injuring their body up to death. Property damage, any damage to somebody's property. If you hit a Mercedes and that Mercedes hits a pole and that pole hits another car, that falls under your property damage limit. Uninsured and underinsured motorists, this part of the policy protects you if somebody hits you with little to no insurance. And then deductibles, comprehensive or comp, and collision. Comprehensive is any act of nature that you cannot control, like deer, wind, hail, anything that has to do with nature that damages your property falls under this deductible. So comp, nature. Collision is any controlled accident that you could have avoided. So there's a fine line when it comes to snowy days here in Iowa. When the roads are slick, and you know the roads are slick, and you go and you drive in these slick conditions, you are taking the risk of driving. And that's how insurance companies see it. So it doesn't fall under comprehensive, it falls under your collision if you go into a ditch because you chose to drive on that snowy day, which caused you to end up in the ditch. And that is a controlled accident because it could have been prevented if you would have just decided not to drive that day. And then extra coverage, this is roadside assistance, this is rental reimbursements, gap insurance that we will define in the later slides. So, excuse me. Bodily injury, this is usually how your policy is set up. Right next to bodily injury and all these terms, you'll have a number, which is your limit of liability. This is the most your insurance company will pay for that one accident. So, 100 and 300. That doesn't mean that they're going to pay $100 and $300. Add 3 zeros behind any number that is listed on the policy. So if you have 100, that means 100,000. If you have 300, then that means 300,000. In this specific situation, John has 100 and 300 limits. So it means 100,000 per person and 300,000 per accident. That's the most a policy will pay per one accident. And property damage, same thing. The 100 is 100,000. So if you have $100,000 worth of coverage on there and you hit a Mercedes, you can rest assured that the majority of it will be paid, depending on the type of Mercedes that you hit. Uninsured and underinsured motorists. These limits usually line up with your bodily injury, which take care of you in an accident. If somebody hits you with little to no insurance, you're covered $100,000 per person and $300,000 per accident. Medical payments at $5,000 is what John has it at. Usually that takes care of the other person's out-of-pocket expenses for the year on their health insurance, and if it doesn't, then have them contact me and I'll be more than happy to put something together for them. But $5,000 limits are usually pretty good limits to take care of any medical expenses that the other person needs to pay due to your accident. On deductibles, comprehensive and collision, John has them at $500 each. And what that means is if he gets into an accident and he damages his 2015 Honda Accord and it's $10,000 worth of damages, he only pays $500 of that. Then the insurance company pays the $9,500 that is left on that in order for his vehicle to be in driving conditions once more. And then glass deductible, if you have a broken windshield, you usually have to pay the comprehensive deductible. Some companies offer separate deductibles for glass. Take a look at your policy and see if you have a separate deductible. If you can't find it, email me, send me a copy of it, and I'll be more than happy to explain it. And then extra coverage, that is roadside assistance, that is gap insurance, that is rental reimbursements, that is the extra cheese and bacon that you want to add on that burger. Usually not on the policy, but different situations, different lifestyle require extra coverage. You might have a twin brother that drives a lot. He probably wants a rental reimbursement and roadside labor or towing. That is because he's on the road a lot and there's a higher probability that he's going to get a flat tire. All right. When you call me, you say, "Hey, Gabe, I need liability insurance, and that's it. I want the most basic coverage, and that's it." There's a lot of little definitions when you say, "I want the most basic coverage." So when you call and you're shopping for a quote and you just want liability, just say, I need liability coverage on my policy. Now, liability equals responsibility. In this case, legal responsibility. So liability covers any legal suits that you might have due to an accident. If you kill somebody, if somebody hits you, if you damage somebody's property, this pays it forward so somebody doesn't have to sue you for those damages. Medical payments usually is not required by law to have on your policy, but it's a given considering the price of medicine, the price of just going to the doctor, to the ER. Medical payments is pretty much a must and a no-brainer when it comes to your policy. So if you don't have medical payments, be aware of that, because then if you get into an accident, those medical payments will not be covered. Full coverage. All right, Gabe, I need full coverage on my policy. Can you give me the most basic coverage? Again, basic coverage, I'm thinking liability. So when you're calling and you say, hey, I want full coverage, not only does it have the liability portion that takes care of legal responsibilities, but full coverage just means it adds coverage to the cost of repairs to your vehicles minus the deductible. So if you get into an accident with liability and you just bought a new car and you just have liability on it and not full coverage, then your car is pretty much done. You have to pay out of pocket for it in order to get it repaired. If you have full coverage, then you pay the deductible like I gave in the example before. You pay the $500 and the insurance company pays for the rest. But they will not pay until you pay your deductible. So pay your deductible. And another question is, how do I know I have the right limits on my deductible? Before I get into that question, I want to talk about higher deductible, lower rates. Having a higher deductible does lower your rates, but do you end up winning in the long run, or do you end up winning in the short run? If you get into an accident, you're going to end up losing a whole bunch of money if you don't pick the right deductible. If you have a $5,000 deductible on your auto insurance to reduce your monthly payments, that's fine, but you still have to make up that $5,000 on that $10,000 car. In the long run, if you accumulate enough money, put it in savings where it accumulates to that $5,000, then yeah, you do end up saving money, but ultimately you have to pay that deductible or those $5,000 if you get into an accident. So when you're calculating a deductible, how much money can I lose in one accident that will not break my bank? That's simple. $500, $1,000, $2,000, whatever the case might be. Don't make it where it is your whole savings amount in your rainy day money. Make it a small portion so it doesn't damage your way of life, doesn't damage your lifestyle if you have to pay for a accident or a deductible. And just mess around with that. Everybody's different. I can't give you any advice on that, but everybody's different when it comes to their lifestyle. Only you know how much money you have put away for a rainy day. So comprehensive deductible, if you crack your glass, usually all companies require you to pay your comprehensive deductible. Some companies don't. I would check that under your policy. If you haven't already, some companies offer a $50 deductible, $100 deductible, low deductibles for glass, and then they keep their comprehensive separate since you don't want to pay $500 for that $300 windshield that they quoted you for, and then you filed a claim and it's on your record now. Collision deductible is just if you hit somebody like the picture here and you cause damage to your vehicle, their vehicle, then you would have to pay that deductible. Excuse me. Extra coverage. Extra coverage endorsements. Like I said before, this is the cheese, the extra bacon, the extra sauce that you put on your auto policy. It doesn't come with it. It's not required. But if you are a driver and you are always on the road, or you commute quite a long way to work every day, some of these things might fit for you. Along with, if you have a loan on the vehicle and you're paying it off and you total the vehicle, gap insurance might be for you. Talk it over with your agent, and if your agent can't help you, let me give you a second opinion on your policy, and maybe we can help you reduce your premium or offer you better coverage through the companies that we offer insurance through. But towing and roadside assistance, usually they come in packages. They come in a basic package, a economic package, and a premium package. Depends on your insurance company, but the more you pay for that roadside assistance, the more you get. Rental car coverage, this is if you have one vehicle and it's the only vehicle you can depend on, and one day you have a flat tire or you get into an accident. Now, I may note that you could only use this coverage if you get into an accident or if you file a claim. So if your vehicle has maintenance problems, it is not covered, and they will not let you use the rental coverage unless it is with a covered accident. Equipment coverage, that is if you have a Honda Civic with twin turbos, you put new rims on it, and you get into an accident, they're going to give you the retail value for that Honda Civic, not considering the rims or the cosmetic damages or the paint that you put on there or the twin turbo that you put on there. They're going to give you the retail value. So if you have custom equipment that you value very much, then that extra coverage would be good for you. Gap insurance, as I said, that is usually your financial institution offers it with your loan. If they don't, then get some gap insurance, because if you get into an accident and they consider it a total loss, not only do you have to pay for the remaining balance on that loan, but you would have to give whatever check that the insurance company gave you to the bank, because that's their vehicle until you're done paying it off. And once you're done paying it off, then it's yours. You don't want to get a title for a vehicle that is non-drivable anymore. So gap insurance is something to consider when you have a loan on your vehicle. And there's a lot more extra coverage out there, but every company is different. If I go through it all together, then we'll be here all day. And last but not least, I want to thank everybody that watched this video. We truly appreciate it. If it helped you, then let it help more of your friends. Let them know this video is up there. If they get into an accident, if they're studying for their insurance exam and just want to outline, or if you're a visual learner, as I am, that's why I made this video. Feel free to like, share, comment. It would be truly appreciated. And follow us on Facebook, follow us on Meta, whatever it's called now. Follow us on Instagram, on Twitter. I do have a TikTok. It doesn't have a whole bunch of videos, but look us up on TikTok. If you want a quote or a second opinion on your policy, or you're just shopping around to see if there's lower rates out there, which most of the time there is, you just have to pick the right coverage for you. Give me a call. Our number is there, 712-580-5700. No matter where you are in Iowa, we'll be more than happy to help you. If you'd like to set up a face-to-face conversation through Zoom, we can do that as well. Or if you just want to give us a call, then that's fine. If you're better with email, you'll find our email under Get a Quote at biginsurancequotes.com, and usually takes me about 12 to 24 hours to respond to it, depending on the day. But we should have a quote for you within that specific business day. And as the agency grows, then we'll have more help. But all that depends on as much people as possible that watch this video and that would like for us to review their policy. My name is Gabe Torres. I am COO of Big Insurance Quotes, or Breckenridge Insurance Group, and we truly appreciate your time. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Thank you.